So guys, welcome to our introduction. These are TV for today. It's trivia time. Do you know that you need to drink something hot to cool down? Conventional wisdom may tell you that if you are hot, drinking something cold will cool down your body. However, research has shown that on a hot day, drinking a hot beverage may help your body stay cool. The reason being that when you drink a hot drink, your body produces sweat to cool down your body temperature. Isn't that crazy? Initially, you may be adding heat by drinking the hot liquid, but the amount of sweat that your body produces to cool down more than makes up for the added heat from the liquid. The increased perspiration is key. When the sweat evaporates from your skin, it is able to cool down your body temperature. Now, let's get on to our agendas for today. So, our agenda for this video is you'll know the importance why you need to learn vocabulary development. You'll be able to know all about word formation. Now here, we have the topics for vocabulary development. We have word formation, word relations, connotation and denotation, the dictionary and vocabulary development, and lastly, we have figures of speech. So this is the introduction for our topic for today. The art of learning a second language, indeed any language, is the execution of as many words as possible to enable the user to apply those words to a variety of users. At the heart of the language, learning are the rules of the government, the use of such words. To master the rules of grammar, the learning process cannot be complete if the user is not in a position or has not been able to have at least disposal words and their relations and other ways of forming new words. Vocabulary then is the list of words available to a user. In other words, a person's vocabulary is the list of words known or available and used by that individual. The ability of an individual to improve his linguistic competence is dependent on his reading skills, mastery of the rules of grammar, and development of the vocabulary. The English language teacher ought to impart to his students not only the knowledge to acquire more words but to explain how these words function, like example the grammar and how they are pronounced, as called phonetics. Over time, scholars tend to divide the vocabulary into two, passive and active vocabulary. The passive vocabularies are those words which we use unconsciously and are hardly applied into use. They lie latent in us and are rarely manifested in our day-to-day communication or writing. The active vocabularies, on the other hand, are those words we employ regularly to communicate our thoughts and sensibilities. Word formation process. Ways of improving your vocabulary base. Developing the vocabulary base is crucial if the student has to improve his communicative competence in his speech and in his writing. He has to be armed with many words and their alternatives, as his work will not appear insipid and tasteless. Let us examine some word formation processes so that students can understand how words in the language are formed and the nature of words. First off, we have affixation. Affixation is a new words that can be formed from existing words by adding affixes, also called bound morphemes, to such words. This could be through adding prefixes or suffixes. Prefixes. What is a prefix? It is an affix added before the root of a word. The root is the core of a word, which is what is left when all the bound morphemes are removed. An example of prefix is the morpheme on which is added to the word stable to form a new word unstable. The root word of the word stable, it is a free morpheme because it can stand alone as a word. It is independent unlike un, which is independent and therefore called a bound morpheme. Here are more examples of prefixes and their meanings. So prefix is il, the meaning is negative, not. Example is illegal, not legal. Illogical, not logical. Illegible, not illegible. So we add the prefix of il to the root word, which is, for example, this one is from legal. You add the prefix, it becomes illegal, and etc. So here are some examples you can see. Now, suffixes. Suffixes is an affix added after the root word of a This is an affix added after the root of a word to form another word. For example, the suffix less can be added to the word noise to get noiseless. Some suffixes can change the word category or meaning of the words they are attached to. For example, the word noise is a noun. When less is added, the new word derived noiseless changes to an adjective. We can we can then say that less is an adjective forming suffix or affix. Here are more examples of suffixes. Noun forming suffixes. We can form nouns from words which belong to other parts of speech by adding the following suffixes. Suffixes added to verb to form nouns. Example, the verb is buy and the noun is buyer. Here we have employee, referee, double E. And in age, we have rec age, break age. And in the word ant, we have disinfectant, accountant. And Asian, we have derivation, exploitation. And in AL, we have denial, betrayal, meant, imprisonment, involvement, etc. etc. Suffixes added to adjectives to form nouns. Example, wicked. The adjective is wicked. And the noun turns to the noun weakness. So we add the word ness. Suffixes added to nouns and the word is still a noun. For example, the noun is child and it's childhood. So hood, we have childhood, priesthood, parenthood, etc. We have ship, citizenship, relationship, etc. and other examples. B. Verb forming suffixes. We can form verbs from words that belong to other parts of speech by adding the following suffixes. Suffixes added to nouns to form verbs. Example, class is a noun and then classify as a verb. So, if we put IFY, we have the classify, glorify, dignify, etc. And then ISE or is in American English, crystallize, idolize. EN will strengthen and hasten, etc. Suffixes added to adjective to form verbs. For example, immortal, the adjective, immortalize becomes a verb. So we have the IS and then the examples below. Now, let's go on to the adjective forming suffixes. We can form adjectives from words that belong to other parts of speech by adding the following suffixes. Suffixes added to nouns to form adjectives. For example, the noun is beauty and it becomes beautiful, which is an adjective. We added the word FUL for it to become an adjective. For example, beautiful, wonderful, careful, stressful, or in AL, natural, conditional, environmental, etc. Suffixes added to verbs to form adjectives. For example, solicit is a verb. Solicitous becomes adjective because we put the word OUS. Here are some more examples. Solicitous, desirous, continuous, able, adaptable, removable, disposable, etc. Adverb forming suffixes. We can form adverbs from words that belong to other parts of speech by adding the following suffixes. Suffixes added to adjectives to form adverbs. For example, the adjective is quick and it becomes quickly turns to an adverb because we put the suffix ly. Quickly, elegantly, narrowly, kindly, etc. Suffixes added to nouns to form adverbs. For example, the noun is clock, then it becomes clockwise. So we add the suffix wise. We have seen that a word can be made up of one or more morphemes. Morphemes are the least distinguished units that make sense. For example, reapply. There are two morphemes here, re and apply. This is made up of the root apply, and the affix re. An affix may be added to a word which already has an affix. For example, on can be added to removable to get unremovable. In this case, removable is not a root. It is called a stem. The root 5 is removed. This is what is left after removing able and on, which are bound morphemes below, or more illustrations of root, prefix, and suffix. So the root word is God, and then it becomes the prefix. We add the word un, which is ungodly, and then if we add suffix, we have godless. So prefix is usually putting something before the root word, and suffix is putting something after the root word. So counter, prefix, and counter, suffix, counter, and then in late, belated, suffix, lately, etc. Borrowing. A lot of English words can a lot of English words were borrowed from other languages, such as Latin, French, Greek, German, etc. But most of the scientific and technical terms come from Greek and Latin. For example, physics, medicine, hypothesis, etc. More examples of borrowed words include debauch and emasse, garage, which is French, piano, Italian, video, expel, Latin, alcohol, etc., and etc. These borrowed words are called loan words. However, most of these borrowed words have been Anglicized, that they are no longer regarded as loan words. So thank you for watching, and God bless. See you for part 2.